They're also moving toward the goal every single step of the way, as opposed to just sitting back. I had this huge list of things that are not doing the thing. Planning to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Thinking about the thing isn't doing the thing. Getting angry at people on the internet that have already done the thing isn't doing the thing. And there's also people who are perfectionists within the thing that matters most are prepared to see things that are ancillary to that. For instance, you're not absolutely a perfectionist, I'm going to guess, with the short form content that goes out on your Instagram. It's like, this is sawdust, as you call it. This is just, it's extra, right? It's freebie stuff. Look, if we have 1 in 100 videos that have got a typo or the hyphens missing or something like that, all right. But if we're talking about the school announcement release, if there's a fucking typo in that, right, or if in the video one of the links is broken, or even if one of the links is slightly pixelated, that's something that I can have a problem with. So picking your battles as a perfectionist, I think actually, or someone with high standards, is super important, because you can't have that degree of high standards at absolutely everything. Because if you don't pick your battles, you're not going to make sufficient movement at the velocity you need to actually make progress. So find the areas that are the highest contribution. And don't compromise on those.
And it's funny you say that, because the way that I immediately reframed that was that the perfectionism was around volume. It's like, that is what we are optimizing towards. And then we can't, because if we knew how people responded ahead of time to content, then we would make things differently than we do. But I, probably like you, am often surprised, pleasantly and sometimes unpleasantly, by the stuff that just grabs hold and then just goes, viral as hell in content. And so I think part of that is making up for our own ignorance by increasing volume. And so that would be like my reframe on the perfectionism there is like, we know that if we make 10 pieces of content, it is more likely that we will have more people see it than if we try really hard at one. And so we make 10 because the net benefit of the 10 is greater. And so that's the ideal that we commit to.
Tiago Forte has a fantastic take on this, where he talks about perfectionism allows people to sit back and not produce work at a rate required to work out what actually works.
Have you heard the story of the pottery class? Oh, I feel like
all right, well.
This feels like total modern wisdom.
Is this where someone comes in behind and then holds the thing in front?
So there's there's a teacher and he's got 2 classes that he teaches. And one class, he says, the only assignment for this whole semester is that you come back with a perfect clay pot. That's it. That's the assignment. The other class, he says, your objective is to make the most total quantity of clay pots, and you'll be measured by how many pots you make. And at the end of the quarter, the pots that came from the team that had to just make sheer volume, not only did they make more pots, but the quality of all of their pots was better compared to the teams that only had to make one. And it just underlines the biggest lesson that I've learned in my life, which is that volume negates luck, is that you can try to be lucky and pick the one perfect thing and try and make it, but if you don't want to try and be lucky, you can just do so much fucking work that you will brute force your way to figuring it out. Like if you do 1,000 podcasts, you'll be pretty fucking good at podcasts, right? But if you try to say, okay, you're brand new, and all you have to do is make one perfect podcast, the problem is that you don't have the perspective in which to make a judgment to say what is good, because you have zero data to base anything off of. And so you're basing your idea of a perfect podcast on something that you've literally never done before. And so doing the volume gives you the perspective to then have the best podcast at number 1,000 or 1,001. Anyways, I just thought you'd love the clay pot.
I know that story, but I thought it was photography.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, but no, I don't disagree. And it's finding the thing that is, to try and make this tactical, what is the thing that you don't need to focus on volume today? The goal is not to try and fit 10 podcasts into one set. It's to make this one as good as possible. But if it's shorts or reels or tweets or something, it's lower leverage, it's lower input. Just get it out there.